We have an intruder that keeps coming on my property. Good morning guys and welcome to the channel. I got the Jeep behind me and today's video is not specifically about the Jeep or the Hellcat. It's just about any vehicle you have in your driveway, and hopefully my experience can help somebody else out there. If you have a home or something like that, maybe some of these gadgets can kind of help you out also. We have an intruder that keeps coming on my property. It comes at all different hours. Now this intruder is not a person, it's actually an animal. And not just one animal, it's been different animals. It's been a cat, it's been a raccoon, it's been a possum. Now the cat specifically and the raccoon has actually kind of got me a little worried. The reason why is because cat loves to just hang out underneath the Jeep. My concern with it is, you know, I don't know what that cat is doing underneath the Jeep. Same thing with the raccoon. I've seen the raccoon hang out underneath the Jeep. I don't want it kind of trying to live in my Jeep or ripping something and trying to get into the Jeep or nibbling or on wires and mess up the electrical system. Who knows? All I know is, like, look, I don't want anything near my cars. So I have to find a solution, and this is the solution that I came up with. I've mentioned in a lot of my other videos that because of what I do with YouTube and what I do for a living, I'm obsessed with security. My whole house is covered in cameras, inside, outside, the back, the sides of the house, everything. I have cameras all over the place. The whole house is smart automated. If somebody like steps on my grass, even if they're like at the edge of my property, they step on the grass, I have a bell that goes off inside of my house. Now, one of the cameras that I have is actually this light. This light right here, it's actually a Kuna light. I'll put a link in the description below in case you're interested. It doesn't look like a camera. It's just a light, but this thing on the bottom is a lens. Basically, this is one of my favorite cameras also just because it talks. When it detects motion, it tells the person, hey, you know, you're on camera, leave a message. And by now, the whole block, my whole like neighborhood already knows that I have these cameras because they're sick of hearing them talk. I keep them at full volume, and I do that on purpose.
You can't answer the door right now, but the camera is recording. So please, just leave us a message.
But in addition to this camera, I also have this other light over here. This is a floodlight cam. This one is actually made by Ring. That little sound you just heard, that alert, that's my phone. Whenever that detects any kind of motion, even though you don't see the light do anything, it already alerted me on my phone, letting me know that there was motion on the front of my property. So those are just two cameras that I have on the front of the house. And I started thinking, like, you know, I have a sprinkler system, and with my sprinkler system, it's also a smart sprinkler system. I could turn it on right from my cell phone. So what I was thinking is, what if we can configure that motion detection? Whenever this camera picks up any kind of motion, if I could get it to somehow send a signal to the sprinkler system. You see all this mulch that I have over here? All this mulch is packed with sprinklers. And this whole side, like all this right here, all this whole side right here, all the way up to the barbecue that's in the back, all of that is covered in one zone on the sprinkler system. So I was thinking, if I could get that motion detector that's over here to send a signal to the sprinkler system and say, hey, turn on zone, I think this is like zone 4 or 5. I'll show you guys in a second. Activate that zone, what's gonna happen? The zone's gonna go off, all the pipes are gonna start hissing. And you're gonna have that hissing sound coming from like 10, 15 different pipes coming up. And then all of a sudden they're gonna jump out of the dirt, and to an animal, you know, they're gonna think it's some kind of predator, it's something that's gonna attack them. It sounds like a snake, and then all of a sudden they see it jump up, it's gonna scare the crap out of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this zone to show you guys what it would look like. Then I'm gonna actually show you my little contraption that I kind of set up in action, because I already scared the crap out of this one cat that tried, you know, coming on the property. Ever since I put this into place, the issue pretty much just stopped. No more cats, no more raccoons, no more possums, nothing. The second they try and come onto the property, they get scared and just run away. So I believe it's zone 4. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on for 1 minute to see. Yep. So you hear all that sound that it's making. Like these already popped up over here. That one over there takes a little bit longer, but if you notice, the sprinkler heads all popped up and it's all along this side. And I'm glad I have them over here also near the garbage can. Now it's time for me to show it to you guys in action. Check out this clip. Keep in mind that the mic from the camera doesn't actually pick up the sound of the sprinkler system, at least I don't think it does. So, but you'll know what's going on when you see the cat starts to stare at the sprinklers. You know what's going on. All right, guys, so you just saw the clip. You saw everything I just put together. The plan has been working perfectly. I've actually had it running for maybe like the past week or two. And ever since I put this whole little plan into action, no more animals coming onto the property. Cats haven't been coming back on. There's been a few occasions where they tried to come on, but they just ran off as soon as the sprinklers started going off. Now, the cool thing is I could go ahead and add more sensors. Now, the one piece of hardware that is making this all come into play is a product actually made by Samsung. It's called Samsung SmartThings. Samsung SmartThings is compatible with this Ring floodlight camera, and it's also compatible with the sprinkler system that I chose. Now, none of this was actually a coincidence. That's Samsung SmartThings product. I went ahead and I purchased this before I even moved into the house. I just never set it up. As of right now, I just honestly really didn't have a need for it. I already have a home security system. This was the first time where I actually ever had to create like a rule that said, hey, if this camera or this motion detector detects any kind of motion, picks up anything on the camera, I need you to take this action and make something else happen, like turn on the sprinklers. And the perfect product to do something like that with was Samsung SmartThings. So let's just kind of do a little summary of all the products. One, we had the Ring floodlight camera. Two, we have the Rachio sprinkler system. I'm gonna go ahead and include links in the description for that also. And the last but not least, the most important part, Samsung SmartThings. And to be honest, the whole thing, to program the whole thing and get it to work, the research took a lot longer because I didn't even know I could do that with the SmartThings. But once I knew what I had to do, it took me maybe 10-15 minutes to set everything up, and it works perfectly. Now, with the Samsung SmartThings, I mean, you could go crazy with it to the point where you could have a sensor inside your mailbox and you can know when your mail person opens the lid on your mailbox. You could put them in drawers, you could put them on the doors, your windows. They have motion detectors, they've got everything. The other idea that I have is I want to add probably more sensors on the front of the property so that maybe if an animal or something comes on the left side, which very rarely ever even happens, I could have the sprinkler systems get activated on a completely different zone and have those other ones turn on also. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys found today's video to be informative. If it's your first time on the channel, hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon so you can sign up for notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.